It's so good to be together for a session of yoga with the CEP Live program this week. We're going to be working a little bit with the lower half of the body. And one of the reasons that we want to get into lower body strength and balance is for the really simple solution and practice against falls in the home. So these really simple things that we're going to be doing this week are going to be focused on preventing falls through things like core strength, finding center, and awareness of what is happening in our legs and the soles of our feet. So with that in mind, I'm going to ask you to start out by just taking your socks and shoes off. The one reason you might keep shoes on is if you have some special orthotics that you literally can't balance without. Otherwise, we're going to work with the soles of the feet, the arches of the feet, in a way that really kind of promotes their strength without shoes on. So slide your socks and shoes off. Make sure that you have a non-rolling chair. And you can see the one that I have doesn't have any armrests or anything that would get in the way of me moving around side to side or bringing my arms out to the side. And we're going to start out by just separating your feet about hip width distance apart, about as wide as the legs of your chair, you might imagine. Now look at the spaces in between your feet. Make sure that hip width distance apart is there. And then make sure that your big toes are not turning in or turning out, but instead that they're pointing towards straight ahead, feet parallel, side by side, pointing straight ahead. And from there, we're just going to start out by just lifting all 10 of your toes, or however many are going to be cooperative today, up off the floor. So you can see some toes maybe are a little bit easier to lift than others. Sometimes that little pinky toe or some of the accessory toes feel a little bit less like they're cooperating. But see if you can leave the rest of your foot flat on the floor, just lifting your toes up. And you might not have thought about your toes in a long time. So we're going to start to build some awareness down there at the soles of our feet as soon as you start out. Go ahead and rub your feet on the floor a little bit. Notice the texture of the floor underneath you. Is it one of these textured sticky mats, or maybe you've got hardwoods or cold concrete, maybe even fuzzy carpet underneath you? But just notice the texture underneath the soles of your feet. Yeah. Bring your feet back flat to the floor. Find that same hip width distance apart. And we're going to do some weight transfers over to the left side and then over to the right side. Not necessarily so much that you fall out of your chair, but just enough so that you can start to feel a little bit of stretch on the side of your body, maybe the part of your body where your pelvis connects to all those muscles that wrap around your rib cage. See if you can start to go side to side with a little bit of fluidity, not necessarily giving too much effort at one place or the other, but starting to make your effort a little bit more of a flow. Yeah. You might even start to incorporate your breath and breathe in one way, and then exhale on the other direction. Let's do two like that. Breathe into one side. Exhale to the other side. One more. Breathe in and breathe out. And the breath is a big part of what we're working with when we talk about yoga practice. We're talking about the body. We're also talking about the focus of where our breath goes and where our attention goes. So let's go ahead and do that with a few weight transfers forward to back. As you lean forward, you might feel the weight transfer into your feet and then lean back a little bit. Notice the weight shift into your hips. Slide your hips up to the edge of your chair. And that way you've got a little bit more space behind you to lean back and forward a few times. Again, try to make your movements a little bit more fluid. Keeping your feet flat on the floor. Try not to lift your feet up at all as you lean forward and backwards. Great job. The next time you lean forward, take a big breath out. Inhale all the way back up. A few just like that. Exhale forward. Inhale back up. And if it's okay for your sinuses, we'll breathe in and out of your nose. Exhale out of your nose. Inhale through your nose. Last two. Exhale out of your nose. Inhale all the way back up. Yeah, so we're starting to warm up the back, starting to warm up those muscles that engage our low belly. Let's hit up some of these major joints all throughout our body on this warm up. Bringing your feet back close together. See if you can come up onto tippy toes a few times. Notice where you feel this stretch in your legs. Do you feel it more in your upper leg or your lower leg? Or maybe you feel it in both. Notice what sensation is coming up for you in your legs. Yeah. And then we're going to go left side lifts, right side lifts a few times, getting some of that bilateral communication against the left and right hemispheres of the brain. Bringing your feet all the way back to the floor. Start to windshield wiper your knees left or right a few times. You might try to keep your knees together as much as you can. And maybe notice a stretch in your hips, maybe even a little bit of movement in your kneecaps as we start to move some of those tendons around back and forth. Yeah. Coming all the way back to center. Let's start to get into our shoulders a little bit. On your inhale, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale out of your mouth. Let's do two more, just like that. Big breath in. Let some of the extra pressure out on the exhale. Last one. Very nice. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down a few times. Big shoulder circles all the way up, back, and down. And you may feel a little bit of cricking, a little bit of cracking in your shoulders. There may be some noises that are coming up for you. That's good. That's what we want. Moving some of the synovial fluid around in the joints is what you might hear popping. And then see if you can switch directions and go the opposite way. Yeah. Everything's connected. So we just want to get the upper body warmed up a little bit as we start to gear into the lower half of the body. On your next inhale, stretch your left arm up overhead. Take a big reach up, and on your exhale, lean to the side. Inhale back to center. Exhale to stretch. Let's do three more. Big breath in. Exhale to the side. You may go faster. You may go a little bit slower than me. No worries either way. I'm just taking a moment here to get our body warmed up and our blood starting to pump a little bit more efficiently through our body. And also some of this oxygen pumping around to heal our cells. Take a big breath in and reach up. Exhale, hand to hip. Same thing, second side. On your next inhale, stretch your right arm up overhead. Exhale to side stretch. Big breath in, come back to center. And as you start to warm up here, you might imagine stretching some of those muscles that wrap around the side of your rib cage on the right side. As you exhale and stretch, you might imagine opening and stretching some of those places between your ribs. Yeah. All the way into your side body. Two more, just like that. Inhale up. Last round. Come all the way back to center. Shake your hands out a little bit. Loose fingertips. Again, moving some of the fluid around in our hands, especially if you've had a little arthritis recently, this can definitely be something that helps. And then bringing your feet all the way back to the floor, separate your feet back to that hip width distance apart and slide your left leg out towards straight. Keep your right knee bent, sole of foot to floor. But on this straight leg, you can notice you can kind of bend and straighten your knee a little bit. Notice how you experience that in your leg. The next time you straighten all the way, or whatever your capacity is for today in that left knee, we never want to go into sharp or shooting pain, but a little dull ache is certainly okay. With your knee straightened to your capacity, flex your foot, point your big toes up towards the ceiling. And then do the opposite. See if you can point and flex a few times on that left foot. Yeah. Notice what is engaging up and down that left leg. You may feel a little bit in your calf, perhaps a little engagement in your kneecap as your kneecap lifts and tones your thigh. You might even feel it all the way into your upper leg a little bit as those muscles start to coordinate and work together. The next time you flex your foot, let's do a few side to side. See if you can bring your big toe forward and then your pinky toe forward. And then coming back to center, keep that flex to your foot. Take a big breath in, stretch your arms up overhead. Exhale, walk your hands down your left leg a little or a lot, just as much as you need to feel the stretch. You might feel the stretch in your back. You might feel it in the back of your leg, maybe both. On your next exhale, see if you can drop your chin down towards your chest. Take the shoulder and the upper back stretch. And then find a few breaths in and out. See if you can seal your lips together and just take maybe 1 or 2 breaths in and out here. You'll know that you've gone too far if you can't breathe. That'll be one of your signs to back out a little bit, make things a little bit more doable. Those deep breaths coming in and out are this signal to your body that we're slowing down, that it's okay to take some time to repair and rest, maybe even to process. On your next inhale, come all the way back up. Our body has to have time to integrate information, to process, and resting does that. Stretch your right leg out in front of you. Same thing, second side, flex and point a few times. If it's been a really stressful few days or months or even years, you might already know that your body can collect and hold on to that experience of stretch, especially in places like our legs. In traditional Chinese medicine, they say we hold a lot of our anger in our legs and our calves. And you may not be experiencing that here, but just something to know that our body does hold on to that stress and holds it in our muscles. So as we stretch, when I say stretch away stress, that's what I mean. Use some of these stretches to get some of that stress out of your body. The next time you come back to center, go left and right a few times. Yeah. That big toe comes forward, then the pinky toe comes forward. We want strong ankles to be able to catch ourselves when things are wobbly. Come back to center, flex your foot, flare your toes, take a big breath in and reach up. Exhale, walk your hands down your right leg to whatever your capacity is that still feels like it's a doable stretch. Dial in to whatever your edge is today. It's not too little, it's not too much, just the perfect Goldilocks amount for you. And then once you get there, find those deep breaths in and out. Let your deep breaths be that signal to your body that we're taking some time to slow down and even cool down a little bit. And the intense stretches can help us work some of that stress out. Let's take one more big breath in and out here. On your next inhale, come all the way back up to your seat. Place both feet flat on the floor. Give me a few windshield wipers left or right a few times just to clear our hips and knees out after that. And then come back to center. Feet nice and neutral, hip width distance apart for your feet and your knees. Bring your hands to your hips. See if you can find some of those muscles right below your belly button. Yeah, those core muscles. And we're just going to engage them a little bit by pulling those low belly muscles in towards our spine, a little gently. So we've got some support in our back. Your back may want to sit like this, especially if you were typing at a desk for like 30 years in your career. And we'll have to be a little intentional about sitting up a little bit taller. Yeah, that's going to recruit some of those back and belly muscles that we want. Come up onto your right tippy toe. Stretch your left hand out in front of you. Yeah. You might stop and stay here, or we're going to lift that right foot up to hover. Now, already, if it's too much for you to lift and hold here, you can interlace your hands behind the back of your thigh, or you might use the strength of your thigh. You can stay here or pull your knee in towards your chest and hold while you breathe. Notice if you already stopped breathing, try to make sure you're inviting deep breaths start to finish. Flex your lifted toes up towards the ceiling and hold and breathe for 3, 2, 1, release. Come all the way back to center. You might even give a little massage on that right leg if it feels a little bit tense after activating that way. And we know these really help with lower body strength. So we'll try the same thing on the second side. Come up onto your left tippy toe. Keep that right foot planted on the floor. This time, stretch your right hand out in front of you. So where you can notice we're doing opposite arm, opposite leg. And we're doing that again to connect that communication across the left and right hemispheres of our brain. Bring your left hand to your left hip, tone your belly, sit up nice and proud in your posture. You can stay here, or you might challenge your effort by lifting this left foot to hover. Use the strength of your belly, your back, and all of your quadricep muscles here. Stay tall and confident. And that posture is your reflection of your confidence. A nice tall chest, a little lift to your chin as you breathe for 3, 2, 1. Come all the way back down. Very nice. Tap it out. Maybe even massage that left leg a little bit. Very good. So we're just getting through our warm up here, just starting to get all these major muscle groups turned on a little bit. One last part of our joints that we haven't gotten to at this point is our neck. You might not consider your neck as an extension of your upper back, but it certainly is. So we'll take a moment to stretch our necks here. Drop your left ear down to your left shoulder. Now notice this shoulder might want to crawl up with it. Try to drop that right shoulder down so you start to feel a stretch on the right side of your neck. Let your breath come and go. Let your right shoulder drop down away from your ear. And some of us, this may be enough neck stretch, or you might reach up with your left fingertips up to the part of your head that's closest to the ceiling. And if you took that option, a light touch to stretch your left elbow out to the left. 2 big breaths in and out here. Come all the way back to center. And it might feel like there's a little difference on the left side compared to the right side after that. Maybe one side feels longer or a little bit warmer than the side that hasn't been stretched yet. So we'll even things out there. See if you can find those broad shoulders, good confident posture, and then right ear drops down to the right shoulder this time. Seal your lips together. Notice where you feel the stretch, and if you need to do anything to change or alter the way that you're stretching here to make it more comfortable or just a little bit more accessible for you. And then optionally, right fingers go up this time. A little stretch of that right elbow out to the right side. And again, a few of the big breaths in to meet that. When we get into the big stretches, those big sensations that give us feedback, we want the big breaths to meet us in that moment. come all the way back to center to release. A few shoulder rolls just to let everything set in. And then switch directions to the opposite side. Yeah. Very nice. Let's go ahead and get started with a little bit of our workout here. We're going to walk our feet out to a little bit of a wider stance. So a little bit wider than the legs of your chair, a little bit wider than hip width distance. You might walk your feet out a little bit more. And then turn your big toes out slightly so that instead of your feet turning in or your knees knocking together, your toes turn out. And imagine widening your knees out towards your pinky toes. They'll want to kind of drop in a little bit, but you'll have to use a little inner thigh strength to keep those knees widening out to the side. Very nice. We're going to bring our arms out in front of us. Take a big breath in. Exhale down to let your arms dangle towards the floor. Drop your chin towards your chest. Let's inhale all the way back up. Arms parallel to the floor. Big breath in. Exhale down. Let's do a few just like this to start to get our back a little stronger. Those low belly muscles working. Inhale up. Exhale down. Two more, just like that. Inhale up. Exhale towards the floor. Let your chin drop. Last round, big breath in. Exhale down. Inhale all the way back up. And then turn your palms to fingers placing down towards the ground and back up again. Yeah. The next time you come all the way back up, grab onto one set of fingers, pull them back. Get that wrist stretch all the way through your forearm, and then switch to the opposite side. A big stretch. Very nice. Release, shake it out a little bit. And then just like we did earlier, we're going to do some side stretching here. Bring your right palm or forearm down to the right side. With an inhale, stretch your left arm up overhead. Maybe even look underneath your left armpit here, like you're looking up towards the ceiling to take some of the strain out of your neck. Let's take one or two more big breaths in here. We know we're stretching those low back muscles. If you've got any upper back or low back issues, this certainly gives us a little bit more space. Inhale, come all the way back up to switch. Lower your left forearm or hand on top of your thigh. Inhale, stretch your right arm up overhead. Stay here or look underneath that right armpit on this side. Notice the strength of your legs and the strength of your belly to keep you here. Inhale all the way back up. Walk your feet back in to that same hip width distance apart, maybe a little closer for this round. Yeah. With your hands on top of your thighs, go ahead and slide your left leg out and then back to center. Switch, slide your right leg back and then back to center. We'll do that a few times, just kind of getting these leg muscles starting to activate a little bit. You might straighten your knee and flex your foot a little bit more at the bottom. Yeah. One more on each side. Yeah, getting these hamstrings a little stretched out there. Then next time you come all the way back to that left leg, leave your left foot with that heel just resting on the floor. Bring your hands to your hips. Find the lift of your chest again. And then this time we're going to bend our knee in towards our chest and then bring it back out in front of us. So we're going to inhale up. Exhale back down to the floor. Straight knee, heel rest on the mat. Inhale, knee towards your chest. Exhale back down. 3 more, just like that. Big breath in. Exhale back out in front of you. Inhale, you might even grab onto the back of your leg if that helps a little bit here. Make this a little bit more enjoyable or doable. Last one, big breath in. Exhale out in front of you. Switch. Slide your left foot in, right foot out. Take a big breath in. Try not to let your chest drop. Lift your chest up. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale out in front of you. Yeah, let's continue like that, breathing and moving at the same time. Now notice the left foot, the one that stays still. The more you press that left foot down into the floor, like the rudder in the water of a boat, it keeps us stable. So keep those left big toes pressing down. Continue for 3, 2, 1. Come all the way back, feet together, a few windshield wipers to clear that effort in our thighs. Very good, everybody. All right, last round of these leg lifts-ish. Grab onto the back of your chair. And we're going to come into a high knee march. Yeah. Some of us will prefer hands on the chair for balance or maybe just for lower body reasons. Or you might challenge yourself with hands on hips. And it's in a slow high knee march, not too crazy, because we know slower is what makes us stronger. We're not moving with momentum. We're moving with strength. So use the strength of your low belly. Try to keep your upper body a little bit more still. Yeah. Very nice. The next time you lift your left knee to hover, see if you can keep it there. And like you're drawing a circle in the air with your left knee, see if you can do some circles with that left leg. Yeah. And then switch directions. It doesn't have to be a big circle. Mine may look very exaggerated compared to yours. I'm just trying to make it easy to see. You may have very small circles. Very nice. And switch. This time, lift your right knee to hover. See if you can go in circles in one direction. And again, if it feels a little bit more doable with hands to the base of the chair, feel free to use that. Or you might bring your hands to your thigh and help guide your leg around in space. That's a good option. Make it work for you. And then switch directions. Keep a little flex to that foot just to protect your knee. Nice circles. There may be, again, some cricking and some cracking. That's okay. We like the movement in those joints. As long as there's no sharp or shooting pain, a little dull ache is okay. Yeah. Come all the way back to center. Woo! Slide your knees side to side again. And then walk your feet back to that wide stance, a little wider than hip width distance apart. On your next inhale, stretch your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to center. Let's do 2 more, just like that. Big breath in, arms up. Exhale to center. Last one. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale like we did earlier, palms out in front of you. Open up the spaces in between your fingers. Take a big breath in, lift your chest. Exhale towards the floor. Inhale, come all the way back up. Arms parallel to the floor. Exhale, hands to hips. All right, we're going to work through some of our sun salutations, moving with our breath. There may be parts that you choose to leave out. There may be parts that you choose to take a break. That's okay. We'll do the best that we can with the body that we're in today. Take a big breath in. Lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands out in front of you. Take a big breath in here. Exhale, hands towards the floor. Now bring your hands to the tops of your knees. On your next inhale, lift up halfway. Look forward. Find a little mini arch in your back. Exhale, bend your elbows like the bottom of a push-up, lowered back down. Inhale, press into your feet. Stretch your arms up overhead. Take a big reach up. Exhale, hands to center. Shifting shapes, shifting states. Take a big breath in, arms up overhead. Exhale, arms out in front of you. Take a big breath in here. Open up the spaces between your fingers. Exhale, lower down. Bring your hands to the tops of your knees. Inhale, lift up halfway, look forward. Exhale, slow breath, lower back down. Inhale, press into your feet, stretch your arms up overhead. Big breath in. Exhale, hands to center. Last round, big breath in. Exhale, hands in front of you. Take a big breath in here. Exhale, hands towards the floor. Be gentle on your back. Bring your hands to your knees. Inhale, lift up halfway, look forward. Exhale, drop your chin, lower down again. Inhale, press into your feet, stretch your arms up overhead. Take a big breath in. Exhale, hands to center. Walk your feet all the way back together. Bring your hands to your hips, lift into your tall, confident posture. And just wave at me with your right hand. Yeah, that's the right side. And cross your right hand outside your left knee, leg, whatever you can reach here is fine. If you don't reach over to the other side, no problem at all. Come into a place where we practice without making a problem out of things that are not a problem. On your next inhale, lift your chest, and then exhale, twist to the left. Look over your left shoulder like you're looking for somebody saying your name on the street behind you. Like you're turning around to see who it is that's calling your name. Take this little twist in your back, and maybe it's a little harder to breathe when our rib cage is twisted like this. You might have to invite in a little deeper experience of your breath. And then exhale, unwind all the way back to center. You might notice a shift on one side of your back compared with the other after that side. Let's do the same thing, second side. This time, right hand to right hip. Left hand outside of whatever you can reach onto here on the opposite side. Take a big breath in, lift your chest, lift your posture. Exhale, twist to the right this time. Gaze turns to the right. Maybe your shoulders are crawling up towards your ears. See if you can invite your shoulders to soften down away from your ears. And when you're ready, deep breaths into your twist. You might notice that maybe it's a little too difficult to breathe here. And that just means to back out and find a little bit more doable version of this twist for yourself today. There's no right or wrong way to do things. There's no good or bad in these stretches, just stretching away stress. Exhale, come all the way back to center. Very nice. Walk your feet back out to our wide stance one last time. A lot of lower body work going on here today. Turn your toes back out, widen your knees back out. Inhale, stretch your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to center. Point your elbows out to the side, and then use the strength of your belly to step your right foot away from you. And then back to where you started. Yeah. Same thing, second side. Left foot steps away from you. And then back to center. You can see when I'm at center that my ankles are right underneath my knees so that my shins are straight up and down. Yeah, see how you see that in the lower half of my body? And then we step it out to the side, big toes pointing straight ahead. Yeah, we'll try that out a few times on each side. Thinking about those big toes pointing straight ahead when we step it out. Mine may look very different than yours. That's okay. Wherever you're at is perfect for today. Yeah. The next time you step your right foot out to the side, keep it there. Bring your hands to your hips. And then this left foot, we're just going to turn those toes out slightly. Again, walking our heel right underneath that knee. Yeah. Inhale for your warrior stance, the mindset of a warrior. Gaze over your left fingertips. Ready for any battle. But we're taking the stance of a peaceful warrior. We're not here to fight, but we're here to fight for compassion. You might soften your eyes, soften your shoulders down, but stay strong through the lower half of your body. Press your feet into the floor. And then peaceful warrior. Inhale, slide your right hand to rest lightly on that right leg. Stretch your left arm up overhead, maybe look up. A humble warrior, never too proud to be present. Inhale all the way back to a T. Take a big breath in, gaze over your left fingertips like you're aiming your bow and arrow. Notice where your fingertips are pointing towards. Take a big breath in. Exhale, hands to hips. Step your right foot in. Great job. Left foot out to the side. Again, you can see those big toes pointing straight ahead on that foot. We're going to turn these right toes out slightly. Strong legs, big stance. Stretch your arms out to a T. This time, gaze to the right. You might imagine like you are a football player about to be tackled, bracing for the moment here. Press your feet down, tone the strength of your low belly by pulling those low belly muscles we talked about earlier in towards your spine. And keep that amount of intensity, but find a softness in your face. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Right arm stretches up, left arm goes down, maybe look up. We're here and present for a peaceful battle. Inhale back to arms to a T. Big lift of your chest. Gaze past your right fingertips this time. Exhale, hands to hips. Step your left foot in. Walk your feet all the way back together. Very nice. And we're going to turn and just rest one foot on the floor with the other foot right beside it. Yeah. The tendency is to want to slump down and sit like this. It might take a little bit of concentration to lift up to a little taller chest there. And then we're just going to cross one ankle over the top. And if that doesn't work for you, feel free to keep your legs side by side, interlace your fingers to the webbing. And you actually can take away some of the intensity from your posture. You might let your shoulders drop a little bit. And this just nice, what we call a relaxation gesture. You might even close your eyes or look down at the floor and see if you can invite a little relaxation into your physical body. You might do that by taking some deep breaths, maybe closing your eyes, maybe softening your shoulders a little bit, whatever it takes for you to just release any unnecessary tension. And notice that we've got this access to our breath in the current moment. This present moment is the only place we can breathe into. We can't breathe into the past. We can't breathe into the future. Our breath is this sure reminder of being here now. Being here now is one of the things that mild cognitive impairment cannot take away from you, this present moment. So as you settle into softening your body, maybe even softening your thoughts, you might turn your attention to focus your thoughts on something that you're grateful for today. However big, however small it may be, what's the first thing that comes to mind in this moment that you notice you have a little gratitude for today? And then we'll just end our session and our stretching with some words of affirmation, some words to replace some of the negative thinking patterns that we might get stuck on from time to time, some of the ruminating thoughts that we might be experiencing. And we'll start out with a few phrases. I'll say them out loud, and you can either whisper them to yourself. You can say them out loud if you really need them to yourself. I highly recommend that. Or you might just say them in your internal dialogue to yourself. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be kind to myself. May I accept myself as I am. And we'll say those 2 more times all together. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be kind to myself. May I accept myself as I am. One last time. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be kind to myself. May I accept myself as I am. And just for a moment, pausing, you might imagine accepting those words and just inviting them into the rest of your day, maybe even the rest of the week ahead. On your next inhale, stretch your arms up overhead. Take a big breath in and reach up. As you exhale, pull your palms all the way back through center. Bring your feet flat to the floor. Start to rub your hands together like you're sparking a little fire between your palms from the friction. Yeah. Go a little faster, even a little faster yet. And then closing your eyes, cup your palms over your eyelids and blink a few times. Sense the heat from your hands on your face. And exhale to gently release. In honor of yourselves, in honor of each other, in honor of this path and this community of those that are experiencing life as someone with mild cognitive impairment or with someone with mild cognitive impairment. Thank you so much for joining this community that we're building here at Emory for those of you who are experiencing this change in your life. We've got just a few moments left in the chat if anybody has any questions for us. We've also got a huge library of yoga videos that we've put together over the past 3 years on our YouTube channel. So feel free, if you're curious in more of these little 45-minute to an hour chair yoga workouts, we've got those on our YouTube page, as well as our Tai Chi videos, our physical fitness videos that we call Get Active. But we do know if you're someone who's experiencing changes in your life, changes in your body, changes in your cognitive state, that it's been proven with research, whether that's you or you're the care partner, that taking these little mindful moments for self-care are like a little drop in the bucket, just one at a time. And slowly over time, that self-care, that self-reverence, that stress management adds up a little bit. So thank you guys for coming and putting a little drop in the bucket here, not just in your own practice, but also as a community of people showing up together to work through this. It is much, much, much appreciated.